Welcome back to a new season of the Equestrian Podcast, where we are going to talk about everything from horses, horsemanship, fitness, equestrian lifestyle, you name it. We're going to have a lot of fun too this season. I cannot wait. We're also going to keep uncovering ways that the industry can learn and grow through areas of the industry that aren't normally talked about. So I'm so glad you're here for the journey. Come alongside me and let's learn and love the equestrian industry together. Hey, friends, and welcome back to the Equestrian Podcast. I am your host, Bethany Lee, and this is episode 420. We are back, and dare I say, better than ever. We are refreshed from a summer of reruns and now are hitting the ground running for a busy fall on the Equestrian Podcast. I made a few changes, and this season is going to be more fun, more exciting, more relevant, doing all video. It's going to be a good time, and we're just going to hang out. And I am super excited about that. So you can expect lots of solo episodes. You can expect some really, really fun guests, current events, things going on, and then also some pretty intense things. But it will be still around the idea of coming back to the core of what we do, which is the love for the horse, that you can find your way in the industry in so many different ways, whether you are an amateur or a junior or a professional. Everyone's road to where they are just always looks so different, and I love celebrating that. So without further ado, we are kicking it off with a solo episode. And I thought it would be fun because I literally struggle with short-term memory loss, I swear. And sometimes I go either and scroll in the archives of my Instagram posts or just go through my camera roll because I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through the summer because I missed you guys. And a lot happened this summer. So I have a little drinky poo. It's evening time, just got back from the barn teaching lessons. My evening drink of choice is a little Diet Dr. Pepper with a splash of grenadine and lots of ice. So that is what I'm sipping on right now. And I also have a cutie little candle here. So I'm gonna light her up. This is Boone and Bow. And I don't know if you've heard, oh, it's like ASMR. I don't know if you've heard of them before. This is not sponsored or anything. I just love them. I wear their hat a lot. It says coastal cowgirl vibes, and it's so cute. But this is a candle from them. Can you hear it? So cute. So let's get into it, shall we? I did a lot of horsey related things this summer. I was gone pretty much all summer. So let's take it back to May. I actually started off the month with a vacation. What? So crazy. But I went to the British Virgin Islands with Ethan and some of his family, and it was a blast. I mean, we did the British Virgin Islands in probably the chicest, bougiest way you possibly could, which is on a boat. It was a family member's boat, and we were there for about a week, and it was fantastic. The weather was amazing. The snorkeling was incredible. And I love the British Virgin Islands because I feel like it's from where I am in Florida. It's like not that far to get to, but it feels like you're across the world. So that was super. It was a great way to kind of, kick off the summer, and also had just finished a super long season in Wellington, Florida. So that was definitely nice to start the summer off strong with a good old vacation. Other than that, I think I mostly did work trips, but that's with a major asterisk because I had so many fun trips that I am lucky enough to call work. Yeah, finished that off with a great time in British Virgin Islands, and then I went home for a little bit. And by a little bit, I think it was about 2 days. And then by middle of May, I was at Old Salem Farm for the horse show there in the middle of May. It's a really fun show. The show's beautiful, and I feel like the timing is always so perfect for spring because all the trees are blooming and it's just beautiful. Our home farm, the show horses summer in North Salem, and it's literally like under 10 minutes away from the horse show. So that's amazing. But I would say a big highlight of the summer is going up north and experiencing that because the horses, summer up there, they get a little bit of relief. By the time we're leaving Florida, it is hot. So it is really nice. The horses are super happy and fresh from being up there. And Old Salem is a great show for us because it's kind of gearing up again after a little bit of letdown from Wellington and gearing up for summer, which this summer we ended up spending a good amount of time in Traverse City. So we went to Traverse City, according to my camera roll, we went to Traverse City right after Old Salem. So that would be towards the end of May. And that was super fun because we spent 4 weeks there, which is the most we've ever spent there. Last year we spent 2 years there. And obviously it's been a big part of our summer just because we have done Junior Hunter Finals is there. And they also have $100,000 Hunter Spectacular there, which for us, those are big classes. And you definitely big parts of what we do. And especially, I would say, besides Derby finals, those are probably our biggest weeks of the summer. So that was amazing. I really, really like Traverse City. I love the showgrounds. It's like big, but also quaint. I feel like I love that. I love that all the rings are just like super close together. So that's really cool. And it was nice just to be able, this summer we usually are moving around like every 1 to 2 weeks. So having some place where we can really kind of like park it and be there for 4 weeks, that was special for sure. And so after that, we were doing, let's see, we did the Hunter Spectacular and Junior Hunter Finals, and then we stayed there for 2 more weeks. Just to continue to show and get points. And a couple of my clients from Jacksonville came and showed all 4 weeks. And so that was just really good time. I have a young client, and so that was really fun to continue to get her, in the horse show groove and, like really get going and get some points for end of the year goals. So that was awesome. I don't know why I said that I went in May because I fully went in June. Fully went in June. That's why I'm glad that I am looking on my camera roll because this would have been a bit of a mess. I feel like now looking back, I'm like, oh, I didn't really do that much this summer. And like, yeah, I was fully gone. So headed to Michigan for pretty much all of June and a touch of July. So I think it ended up being like around the 10th of June to the 10th of July because we did celebrate 4th of July in Michigan. So overall, I love Michigan. We're always there during the Cherry Fest, which is so fun. It's one of those places where it has a super cute downtown. It has some decent restaurants, and it's just like a cozy cabin feel. I love where we stay. We have these Airbnbs and they're like modern and cool and new and just really cute. And so we all just stay together and it's a blast. Had some good goals in Michigan with riding and training. I think our clients rode really well. And so overall, I would say Michigan was a major success. We had some fun things too. Went to Cherry Fest and just really kind of tried to do everything we could to enjoy ourselves because 4 weeks of showing in a row is a lot. So I got home towards the middle of July and I came home to 20 giant boxes of Ellsworth hairnets. And so we got a whole new batch of inventory. And that is always so exciting to get new stuff. And it was just fun to celebrate. I remember here, I will show you. I did a whole photo shoot sitting on my boxes because it's just always surreal. I remember the first batch of inventory that I got, which would have been June of last year because I launched in August of 2023. But June, I remember I saw the boxes and I literally started crying. I think out of overwhelm, out of excitement. And it was something like I drew my first version of the Ellsworth hairnet probably like 2 to 3 years prior, and then went through the design patent process and all of that, which I think you're the first people to know. We officially have an approved design patent for the Ellsworth hairnet. The design patent process takes forever. And so I think from start to finish, it was maybe 2.5 years, but I officially heard last month that I officially have a design patent for the hairnet. So that is so exciting. I cannot wait. I'm excited to change all the packaging from patent pending to patented. So that is super exciting. So got that, sent off a bunch of stock over to our wholesalers. We're in probably about between 100 and 150 stores. We have 100 retailers that we work with, which is just incredible. It's so fun. I don't know why I drug my feet so long from having a products-based business, but I am so happy that I started Ellsworth, and I have so many new products that are right around the bend. Might see some new cute things for holiday this year, so keep your eyes peeled for that, but I might give you a little sneak preview if you want to watch the podcast videos. Might be a little teaser through the podcast. So, headed home middle of July, got some things done back at home because I had been gone for 4 weeks. Thankfully, Ethan came and visited me 2 times while I was in Michigan. He came for like 2 long weekends, so that was fun because 4 weeks is a long time. I missed my husband, I missed my dogs, I missed my family, so that was a lot, but it's also just, it's so fun. And I think for me as a trainer, it's so important to be there and fully be a part of the program, understand the horse's prep and how they're doing, how they're, maintaining their, muscle, and if they're getting fatigued, if they need some time off, if they need to keep going, how the clients are doing. It's just really good to know that instead of just kind of park it at home. Because my role is, I'll have to do like a re-intro of what I'm up to these days, but my role is I'm a trainer based in Jacksonville, Florida with Hessling Williams. So we like to say that I am the Jacksonville Hessling Williams satellite campus, but several of our clients were based in Jacksonville, Florida, and as am I, but all of our show program is Wellington in the winter, North Salem in the summer. So when we go show, we join forces with Jeffrey Hessling and Brendan Williams. And so I become part of that team. So it's the best gig. I love it. I couldn't ask for a better team. And so that is such a blast, being a part of such a big part of the hunter jumper world, especially the hunters. It's just unmatched quality. And I pinch myself all the time that I get to be a part of it. Anyway, I'll have to do another episode where I'm giving you a rundown of all the stuff I fill my day with, because I have very full days, but really fun days because that's all pertaining to horses. So I was home for about a week. And so usually at that time, the horses came back from Michigan. It gave them some time to let down, had the vet jog them and make sure that they were all comfy and good. And they're also, by that point, especially my 2 ponies, from showing, they had gotten really fit. And there's always that fine line of fitness that's good and then fitness that is, it can be bad. And the reason, in my opinion, I would say can sometimes be bad is, especially for a junior or an amateur, it is important to my program that I prep a hunter so that they are quiet, but also fit to not develop fatigue as the week goes on. But if a horse gets too fit, what can happen is the amount of prep is increasing and increasing, and it gets to the point where you're needing to do so much to get the horse quiet that then you start to have other things to worry about, right? Like having the horse get sore or the horse get fatigued or, you know, a whole kind of like slew of other issues on the other end of the spectrum versus the horse being like wild and fresh. So I always try to find the fine line between trying to get them quiet in their mind, and because every horse and pony kind of has those varying levels. If for them to perform their best, they have a specific like threshold of body quietness and mind quietness. So trying to figure out how to balance all of those, because basically I try to do the least amount possible for them to still be quiet. Because if you just go at them, I feel like it becomes so difficult to um, keep them really healthy in their body if they're constantly going. So gave them a little bit of time to relax and enjoy being back at home. Vet got to come look at them and they looked awesome. And so we just kind of got resettled again back at home. Took a second to unpack, but then started gearing up again for some travel. And that is probably the highlight of my summer because it was very last minute. I did not know this was going to happen until probably, I would say, I think it was like a week and a half or 2 weeks before I left. But the FEI, the Equestrian Federation, the main governing body, sent me an email inviting me to create content for them at the 2024 Paris Olympics, which was such an honor and something that's been on my bucket list. I mean, for a very, very long time, probably decades, but in a real sense was a very big goal and bucket list item when I started my equestrian style in the podcast. And so it was such an incredible opportunity. It was a unique opportunity too, because I've traveled with the FEI before for World Cup finals in Omaha in 2023. I went to Milan in 2023 for the European Championships, and then this one. And so they were incredible opportunities. And for those trips, I took over their TikTok account and created content, whether that was interviewing riders, doing course walks, kind of like trending audio and fun things. And it wasn't super like results based because they had a whole team doing that, but I did more the community, the fun, the engaging, things like that. But the Olympics is super unique because of the way that it's structured and video rights and things like that. They run a really tight ship, so you actually couldn't record video within the grounds of the equestrian games. So that was we were in Versailles, which was incredible, about 45 minutes outside of Paris. And so I flew into Paris and spent the day in Paris and then was in Versailles for like a day and a half and then made my way back to Paris to fly out. So I was only in France for like 2.5 days because I had to get back for another horse show, of course. So it was well worth it. I actually didn't ever get jet lagged because I wasn't there long enough. So it kind of worked in my favor in that way. But what I did is really highlight the lifestyle of Paris, Versailles, the Olympics, and understanding a little bit of the behind the scenes of where we were, where the athletes were, and just some fun things, fun facts, and then kind of a fashion part, a fashion component to it as well, about like what I wore, what I packed, things to be, dressed like a Parisian with an equestrian essence to it too. The other cool part is Europe is so much more horsey than the United States. So really fun things like so many fashion houses stem from equestrian. And so that's just so cool to see. A lot of their flagship locations, like Hermes, is so equestrian based at its core. And so being able to see those things, Dior, Chanel, it was just so beautiful in Paris and Versailles. But in Versailles, I actually was just walking along, just come out of a bakery because that's what you do. And I saw a tack store, or not a tack store, like a equestrian brand, a fashion boutique, brick and mortar shop, like just on the main street. And I was like, this is so cool. And really, I feel like would only happen in France, that there's just a horse riding store. Um, it was hardcore. And they have beautiful riding pieces. So that was just being in that culture. I love Europe. I love France. And I had never been to Versailles. So it was just such an incredible opportunity that I will be forever grateful for. And I loved my time there, even though it was very short. I brought my friend Jess with me, and she had never been to Europe before. And so that was so fun seeing her experience it for the first time. And it was just it was just a blast. Ethan had a few projects that he had to be at home for. And so he was not my plus one, but I was happy that I was able to bring her and have her experience the horse events and just the French vibe, you know? I did a huge like packing guide and a lot of like fun things because I packed everything for my trip. And granted, like, okay, Bethany, let's not be dramatic. I was only there for 2.5 days, but it was so fashion focused that I thought it was a major feat that I packed in a carry-on. So pat on the back from me. After I got back from France, I headed home for about a day and a half, shocker, and then went right back to a horse show. We ended up going to Saugerties, which is one of the HITS locations in New York, as a little practice show to gear up for Kentucky. And Kentucky is one of our big weeks, Derby finals. So we won it a little bit after a little bit of time off after Michigan. The horses got some rest time. We went to HITS, and they run a beautiful show. They've made a lot of improvements, and the footing is nice. And yeah, it's quaint, it's cute. And so I enjoyed it. We stayed at a really cute Airbnb. And overall, I just thought it was a fun vibe. There's a lot of our horse friends that also showed there, so that was fun to see them. And I also had a lot of Ellsworth tack stores that were at HITS, as well as Michigan and stuff. But I feel like sometimes at a smaller horse show, it's fun to see the hairnets out and about. So that was amazing. And then from there, we headed directly to Kentucky, which was, it's always a really big week, right? Like it's in the middle of August. We've already done a lot of horse showing in the summer, and Derby and incentive finals are just really, really big. I mean, the team puts a lot of pressure on themselves to perform, and, at the end of the day, it's a horse show. You never know what you're gonna get. So we got to Kentucky. We spent a good amount of time, like a good 1.5 weeks or so. And so had some time to warm up and practice. But another big part of that was just getting ready for Derby finals. And Jeffrey last year was second at Derby finals, and so he had already done so well. So I think this year it was more so for a couple young horses to experience a bigger venue. I think that's always important, and Kentucky does such a nice job of really giving a special atmosphere in the Rolex Stadium. So they have some pretty significant jumps, and yeah, it's super, super beautiful. So that was overall a good experience. And Kentucky just runs a good horse show. We end up being there again at the end of the year. We finish off our season for the National Horse Show, which is our last show of the year. Looking forward to that, because after that we head to Florida for the winter and to do it all again. So Kentucky was great. I do like it. I think I think it by that point in time, we're getting to the end of summer. So we're fully in the grind, we're in the thick of it, and just trying to do our best. But this was also one of the last shows that we had with the small pony that we leased for the last 6 months, Maroon Bells. And she was so cute. She was an old grandma, knew her job, just an absolute schoolmaster. And so had to say goodbye to her, but my client did such a great job with her and learned so much with her. And so that was bittersweet. But I was just reminiscing these pictures I have of my 3 Jacksonville ponies and horse were all champion that last week in Kentucky. So we cut a little picture with all 3 of them, but that was a precious way to end the Kentucky weeks. I also love Kentucky because one of my favorite brand partners, Fab Finds by Sarah, has a beautiful setup there. And so I have a lot of like try on haul videos in Kentucky because she had some incredible stuff this summer. So that was amazing. I also had such a wonderful brunch when I got back home after the day after Kentucky. I had brunch with my OG clients from Jacksonville, and the youngest sister was headed to college for the first time. She's a freshman in college this year, and she was headed to college that week. So it was like our little farewell brunch, and it was so special. I had been with that family for about 8 years. And so I remember them when, they were riding ponies. And so to see them through aging out and off to college, it was so special. So it was so fun catching up with them on their summer and plans for college. One's a freshman, one's a senior in college, and man, just grow up so fast. After that, I headed up to North Salem for a little bit of time at our home barn up north. And it's a beautiful farm. It's fun because I get to spend time with the team, but it's not in like a stressful horse show environment. And so that was a blast. We went to a show. Our team's been trying to do some like fun things and live our life a little bit because we get in this like horse show rhythm, and it's like you're in this bubble and it's like, is this all there is to life? So we try to do some fun things. We went to the Lion King in New York City, and that was amazing. I didn't know what to expect, and it was such a good show. But yeah, we're like musical people now, even though Lion King wasn't a musical, but we are loving going to shows in New York. And so that was an absolute blast. From there, we headed to one of my favorite shows of the summer, and it's so fun. It like wraps up the summer so nicely. The Hampton Classic. It is so classic, so traditional, so beautiful. It's like old fashioned in the sense that they like keep so many traditions alive. The landscaping is beautiful. They have grass arenas, which brings a unique dynamic, a very interesting dynamic. And it's nostalgic, but it brings up some memories for us for sure, for our team. And we had a very scary fall. This was a few years ago where Jeffrey fell and broke his leg. Was at the Hampton Classic on the grass. It was dewy and wet and wasn't even over a jump. It was when a horse was cantering through a turn and just lost his footing and fell on Jeffrey. And so it's definitely shaped him and shaped our program and how we do things, especially when it comes to riding on grass. We're very cautious and careful, and try to time things so that we are not showing on wet grass, because there's no need to do that again, that's for sure. But on a positive note, the Hampton Classic is lovely. We usually stay at a beautiful Airbnb all together, and it's just chic. I could just drive around for hours looking at the architecture of the houses. The landscaping is incredible, and the horse show is just cute. You like don't even have golf carts. You ride bikes around the horse show. There's only a few little rings, And what I showed you guys a lot of was just like the setup of everything. The setups of the barn tents are always just another level up. They are so beautiful. They usually have a contest for the best setup, but what they absolutely always have a contest for is the tablescape competition, and that's located in the VIP tents of the Hampton Classic. And the tablescapes are literally out of this world. Like they all belong in magazines. They sometimes people will bring professionals in and have a whole team and staff. They'll sometimes have waiters, like waiting table, your VIP table or serving drinks. It is just so classic, Hampton Classic, like just so bougie and so fun. And usually people go in themes. It was our first year of decorating a VIP table, and we went with super classic. Brendan Williams, who is part of our team, is the brains behind all of our setups. And I'm trying not to be biased, but our setups are stunning. Like one time, Brendan had a landscaping crew come in and cement in pavers to go in the front part of our setup where our tack trunks are. It was stunning. Always hydrangeas, always like blacked out everything, and just beautiful. It's like current but classic and clean, minimal, so classy. So we went with kind of the same theme with our VIP table, and I think we were the only table that did orchids. Hydrangeas are like the hot flower, which makes sense. You're in New England, but we went with a full table of white orchids, and it was beautiful. It kind of gave like wedding, but it was just like clean. Everything was like white and beige and gray, and then the white orchids. It was really good. I am already thinking of what to do for next year, because now that I know we're decorating the table, oh man, you better believe I am getting that Pinterest board ready for a show-stopping table for next year. But this one was amazing. It was a great, nice intro, and it turned out stunning. The Hampton Classic already always has like some of my favorite vendors. They have a really big vendor space, as well as restaurants. They have some incredible places to eat. So it's fun. We bring nice clothes. We try to get out of the horse show early so we can enjoy some dinners. They always have some great coffee shops. But overall, if you can visit or attend the Hampton Classic sometime in your life, I would put it on your list, because it is just really, really fun and beautiful. And it kind of just is like, it feels like it's like the Disneyland version of a horse show. So that finished up really the horse shows for the summer. And so after that, I headed home, and I am home for a whopping 2 weeks. And then we start the fall season. So in this kind of zone of time, the horses came back. They were able to take a breather from the Hampton Classic. Again, we have the vet come jog them and make sure that they're feeling comfy in their body, give them some good time of turnout and some light rides for them to stretch and be happy and re-energize. And at this point, we will do any, like any upkeep. They were due for dental. We had to get a health cert for this upcoming trip, heading to Middleburg and Capital Challenge. So things like that, get them scheduled for their fall vaccines, just kind of housekeeping things. I needed to go through all of my stuff and like clean out my tack trunk, the supply stuff that I kind of take back and forth for the horses. So it was just, a nice time to really get everything organized again. And now I feel like I can finally get the rest of my life organized, like my house. I have a huge project of I need to go through all of my clothes, which I would love your say. I have riding clothes that I usually always send to Tried Equestrian to resell, and I love them over there, and I think they do such a nice job, and it's such a great space for people who want quality, barely used pieces, or sometimes new with tags even, but at a fraction of the price. So I think it's such a great concept, and so I love supporting them. So I send my pieces that I no longer use, or have doubles of or whatever, or just because I need space. But I also have a lot of non-horsey clothes, and I'm wondering, should I try to do a little closet sale, a little virtual closet sale on MES or on stories, or maybe I could go live. But if you have an opinion one way or the other, let me know. Because otherwise, if I don't hear from people, I might just first I'll show them to show all the clothes to my sisters and let them get a say. But otherwise, I might like donate them. So would love to hear your thoughts on that. But oh my gosh, I think that was my summer. I think that was it. I don't think I'm missing anything because I do document a lot of my life on the camera roll, and we were scrolling. I think I hit everything. So with that being said, I'm so glad to be back. Some things around the corner are a lot of fashion pieces because from talking to you guys, we're going to be really getting into how to create your own capsule wardrobe, your equestrian capsule wardrobe, and really get into the specifics of what that involves, how to really pick quality over quantity. And that doesn't mean you have to go with the expensive pieces, just quality material, quality, to me just means that like something that will last, but that also I am so convinced that there are brands that you do not have to pay $80 for a t-shirt. And I think I'm sticking to that. I also think there is something to be said about trendy kind of like accent or statement pieces. And for me, I don't feel like you need to be spending top dollar on those because one, my style, like my personal style changes a lot. And I like that I can get accent pieces from Zara or H&M or even Forever 21 or Amazon because I knew I don't spend a lot of money on them. And then when either that trend goes out or now I all of a sudden want a different cut of jeans because that's what's in now, then I'm not like, oh my gosh, but I just spent $800 on this pair of jeans. Like I have to wear them. So those are my thoughts on that. I'm really going for quality over quantity these days, especially because I am essentially living out of a suitcase. So with all that being said, definitely fashion pieces, definitely styling pieces, how to wear your riding clothes into your everyday life, because there is so many classic silhouettes and elements to our riding clothes that work so seamlessly, especially because you're investing in nice riding clothes. So let's get all the use out of them as we possibly can. We're also hitting some really big current events, some big things happening in the industry, as well as some hot topics, some really big kind of serious, kind of yucky things that are right around the bend. Doing some of those obviously in like interview based podcast episodes. So I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you and on video. I think it's just more fun this way. And so as you are starting to listen to this season and you have any recommendations or things that you want to hear, I also include this in like the closing of every episode going forward, but please, please, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear about who you'd like to be, who you'd like to see on the podcast, or topics that you really would want me to cover. I've gotten a lot of recommendations from you guys on topics, so excited to make those all happen. But until next time, I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm so excited. I already have the next episode recorded, and it is, get ready. It's intense. It's one of our more intense episodes, but it is so important and so timely. So stay tuned for that. New episodes coming out every Monday now. And I am just so excited to have this community of you guys. You guys mean the world to me, and you are the reason that the Equestrian Podcast is around. So until next time, I'm Bethany Lee, and this is the Equestrian Podcast. We'll talk to you soon.